wszystko ziapa, wszystko porodziła syna Chrystusa.
I'd say Niech będzie pochwalony Jezus Chrystus, and my mother would answer us back in Polish, na wieki wekowamy. That means all forever. I mean, that was just at our house, that's the way it was. We came from kind of a poor family. We always had enough to eat, and God always took care of us like you can't believe. The Franciscans then, they had something all going, rosary and Mother Perpetual Help at Night, the month of the Rosary, October and May. We were in church all the time. Every Sunday we went to church and you got together. You had together, you talked together, you played together, you sang together, you danced together. The same kind of stuff that goes on right now with community. You had people who were always working together. Those were the days.
Life in general has changed a lot, and it seems to be moving very fast. Just the whole idea of the computers and learning to use that.
We only had 3 stations, okay, and we didn't watch a lot of TV. So what we did is we were outside all the time.
Back in middle school here, everybody was like, "Oh, this kid got an iPod," and nowadays it's like little 4-year-olds have iPhones.
Yeah, I don't even think they make iPods anymore.
No, they don't.
No, it's just straight to the iPhone.
Parenting and parenting worries change. I think it's just changing with the times.
Things seem so much easier. You know, life seems simpler.
Yeah, it's simpler, yeah.
Not at such a fast pace.
Changes will happen.
And we adapt.
Like teleporters.
That'd be cool.
It just felt like a community. You know, people were welcoming.
Open, friendly.
And I guess that's what attracted me to the parish in the first place.
When my wife was diagnosed with cancer 6 years ago, the community really rallied. They organized a fundraiser for her right away. I mean, it's very scary. You don't know what the future holds. And the community was right there for her, for us. Mm-hmm. The church is more than whether your God believes in the same God as the next church, but it's about the community, about the people.
I grew up in this parish, so I remember all the parents of the kids in school and all the things that they did together. You feel part of the community in choir. Since I was in junior in high school, it's a long, long time to be in that community, and it's hard to leave.
I made my baptism here, first communion here, and I hope to stay here as long as I can.
I like the parish. I just like the way it looks. It just feels welcoming and all that.
Being here feels like I'm going to Mass with my whole entire family, since everybody around here just feels like family.
Being able to listen and to be part of everything that's going on.
I think we found friendship. It was just a kindness of the people. It just felt different.
Catholic faith is really a universal one. Back in the Philippines, I cannot believe it. That how they say Mass here, you know, the same. I feel like at home here.
The bonds and the memories that you made with the people remain into the next life. You know, so we take them. In fact, early Christians used to say, "Till we meet again." But it was the people it was their parish, and they took ownership of it.
I think the familial aspect with people that have remained here for a long time, and also is an attraction for some people that come from different congregations and pick it up real fast. So there's this family atmosphere, and I think that's a mixture of the Polish background and also the Franciscan.
I think you got to know the priest and they got to be part of your family and stuff. So yeah, St. Mary's is home.
I went to school at St. Thomas More, and then St. Mary's was always a part of that experience. We chose to come to St. Mary's because it was just comfortable. You know, the people here are always welcoming, and it also offered us an opportunity to get involved right away. The loyal people are still the same, You know, everyone's super welcoming, and you have that feeling like you're coming home to your family. It's funny, we all notice when someone's not in church. We all notice, okay, we can say, oh, they're not there, where are they? You know, and everything like that. You know, and that means something.
When you sit in a certain section for the longest time, you get to know the people in that section, and you start to become family.
I have my seats, you know, everybody sits in their pews. That's how I got to know the people behind us, because they sit in the same place, you know, so we finally know their name and what they do, and I'm more bold, so I'll say, well, come down for, you know, have a coffee with us when it's Sunday social.
The people of St. Mary of the Angels have been accustomed to change. They've been accustomed to readapting, or I should say adapting and readapting. There is a spirit here, the spirit of Francis, the spirit of community, that maybe the community will get smaller, but again, if you look in Scripture, you find there's always been the remnant. And with that remnant, great things can happen. So I see great possibilities.
Because of our Franciscanism, I think that that's a springboard for us, not to just rely on what was, but what is, for us to go forward during this transition years, that's what's going to get us to the next level where the Lord wants us. In order for us to deepen our faith, we have to let go, because if you don't let go, faith is stagnant.
I would like to see people working together. We all need to figure things out together. We don't just need to have a couple people come together and make a decision. We all need to help be a part of everything.
And with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, we may be starting something that will have an effect upon the diocese, which may have an effect upon the church universal. Who knows?
Christmas for us, our son comes home usually. We'll have a nice meal on Christmas Eve. After that, we will go out, take a little ride, look at the Christmas lights, and then we'll come home and open up presents.
Christmas night is my time. I put out a big brunch and I read the nativity story, and then we have what they call opłatki. And so they all break the opłatki. We do that.
Santa only brought 3 presents because that's what Jesus got from the wise men. He got 3 presents. So, I mean, they had other gifts because they had mom and dad gifts and they had grandma and grandpa gifts and stuff. But Santa never got out of control.
In the Philippines, we celebrate Christmas longer. We have a novena mass 9 days before Christmas. It's an early dawn mass. So it's usually held during 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning. So it's kind of like preparing ourselves for Christmas.
It's a lot of trying not to bring up politics. Sometimes it gets brought up.
My dad's parents, who lived out in Bellevue, they lived on a farm out in Bellevue, these giant hills. And I would be out there with my 40-some cousins. And it didn't matter what we got that day. It was just spending the time together.
Christmas Eve was always meatless for us Italian Catholics in those days. And then, of course, in those days was the midnight mass. Always a half hour before, or sometimes longer, some kind of a Christmas program. And sometimes they were very elaborate. I mean, they would have children dressed as angels on wires in the church. Of course, you wouldn't do that now with liability. But, you know, they'd come from one end of the choir loft to the middle of the sanctuary. It was very theatrical.
My biggest memory of Christmas and part of the celebration is always the music. So many years in the choir, I would go and you get to sing all these beautiful hymns.
Well, the Christmas traditions, it's very nice, to come to start the Christmas with, doing our Christmas here. Another neat thing about the choir and the music, it's like we have fun together too. We celebrate together and socialize together and, and enjoy those moments. And it brings out all our unique personalities, and yet we all come together in that way.
Sang with all different kinds of people through the years. Father Brendan comes to mind. He was assigned here as an associate. He came and sang in our choir. So he and I were the bass section one year. It enlivens you. Music does something. And St. Francis sung. He's our mentor, right? And he sung all the time. He'd sing when beggars beat him up one day, right? He started singing.
Since I was 5, I've always had to do something. This year it was singing the first part of a song together, and then the choir finished it. It was scary because there were so many people watching you. It makes me excited that they're bringing back what the church used to look like. Somebody showed me a picture and asked me, "Do you know what church this is from?" And I'm like, "Maybe here?" The choir loft wasn't right there, it was right there. And all the pews were in straight lines. They weren't curved.
I hope that they get that church finished before she lands next to Melvin, get out of there. I hope they do, because I figured, I entered that way by my parents, brought me there and everything happened.
It's the best parish I've ever been to. I plan on staying here for the rest of my life.
I'm 80 years old now. Those years go by so quickly. And when you're 80, you start to think, what can you leave for the next generation? I want to leave more than 2 scripts within a file cabinet. We're going to tap your resources and technology. So we're going to do interviews. And that's how this all started. It was Teresa Bernstein's statement the one night, almost done in humor, but it hit me. And she said, I was carried into this church, and I want to be carried out of this church. That's what parish is all about. And we're going to keep the spirit alive.
The people are the memories. I had the privilege of being part of their lives. And, as a deacon, I get a front row seat into their lives, their baptisms, and praying with them. And over my 20 years now, or 18 years, we buried probably 600 people. And these were just really faith-filled people that I got to know. And I feel that they're still here, And then I think of over the 125 years of our parish and all the people that have passed through here and received sacraments. And I feel like part of that, of upholding all of that, is important. It's part of the passing of the world, right? You can't keep things the way they were. And we think this is a way to keep it going.